Hello. Hello, everyone. Just let me know if you can hear me, because I can't. I don't. I obviously hear me. Just let me know if you can hear me, because I can't. I don't. I obviously just let me know. Okay, you can. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go. Okay, I'll start talking then. So, end revamps. A lot of you guys had a lot to say in our feedback survey regarding the content that came in 1-1. And we saw that, and we really wanted to take some time to reflect on the content that we know a lot of people weren't necessarily happy with. And especially in comparison to some of the newer, some of the newer content that's released for other mods, won't name names, when compared to ours, just look a little skimpy. And I agree. I recently, for example, obviously one that would come to mind is Better End. They have everything about their mod is incredible. Shout out to them. But obviously, when compared to the content that we've bestowed in 1-1, it was kind of minimal looking. It wasn't that great, and I can totally be honest about that and own up to that, and that's fine. So, I really wanted to take this time just to showcase some of the stuff we're working on. Not all of it is done. Disclaimer, we have a lot still left to do. Yeah, so we're still working on things. I'm still working on things a lot. This is just what I've been working on. I've been super busy with finals, but I finally finished everything yesterday, which is great. So that gives me much more time to just talk about and showcase what we're working on. So I'll start with that now. And then I'll be doing some like little Q&A throughout the thing, just identifying people's questions. So the first round, obviously, that we're going to be in is the Cryptic Wastes. A lot of you saw a lot of the teasers about this. We teased a lot of things from this one. And here we have these cryptic vents. Ignore the nice thing. So I wanted to go with these. We wanted to add just more to it. But we didn't want to add a lot of natural things like we do with a lot of our other biomes. So I wanted to try and find a way to add to the biome without it feeling like it was all this like nature again. So yeah, so we have our tall vents, and then we have our short vents, and these are, I can't even find them. There they are, there's the short one. These are the first custom model blocks to be added into the mod. At this version. Obviously, I have added custom models in the past. But it's just new. For this version, we've never implemented custom models before, so there's custom models in these, and they're not the last. With the end and Nether, I think a lot of things that a lot of people wanted was, it just didn't look right, and that's fair. That's a fair point, and that's why we're going to be adding custom models to things more, to make them feel more unique rather than just like a copy and paste. And regarding artwork, I noticed a comment in there regarding the artwork. So the artwork is getting revamped. I've done a lot of efforts. I've been drawing. Not all of the artwork is done, and it's not all going to be showcased today. I can say one that I was working on is the Skulk, is our Vermilion Skulk. Now that the 117 has come out, and that there is, what's it called? The actual Skulk sensors I took in, I was looking at the blocks, and we're trying to model things a little more better. So yeah. Regarding that, we're gonna be redoing artwork, and I'm gonna be doing the artwork for a lot of the blocks and things like that. Bulbous is in for retextures, Cryptic's in for retextures. There's a lot of things due for retextures. And then we've also, a lot of things that people have been asking for is purpose in some of the biomes. A lot of people always say that the biomes just are kind of there, and there's really no reason to go there. So that's why one of the other goals of the patch is going to be adding utility to certain blocks and things in these biomes so that you say, oh, I actually want to go and find these, not just for decoration. So I don't have to showcase I don't have the lantern and the campfire to showcase yet. I'll be showcasing them later on when I can. They're just not done yet. But the cryptic fire, red lantern, and the campfire will all be emitting redstone signals, and you'd be surprised what you can do with that. I was testing it out, and you can make some pretty cool things. And so yeah, you can do some pretty cool redstone stuff with it. But it's very interesting. And then we have cryptic redstone ore now, so you can find redstone in the end if you ever need it. And there's still, again, disclaimer, there's a lot more blocks actually coming. I haven't finished them all. There's going to be some thorn blocks. They're called bramble. It's going to be a new kind of block that has its own interesting concepts that I will talk about later when they're added on. And then let's just walk to the next one because it's really easy. So the next one is obviously our the ethereal islands, and heavy disclaimer, I have not gotten to the ground blocks yet. This, I know a lot of people are instantly going to say that the ground is still kind of boring, and I agree. We're going to be adding more ground coverage to these biomes and more things for that, and these things are all going to get retextured because they don't really look that great. But currently I focused on working on the trees a lot, and that's because there's these new ether bulbs, and they're almost like a growable light source. So you can harvest them to get ether bulb berries, and they're not a traditional food source. They're not actually a food source at all. They don't provide any hunger for you. They're simply a growable light source. So once it reaches stages 2 and 3, it will emit a light source, and these cute little particles will dangle off of it. You can eat them. And if you eat them, you will receive a glowing effect, because they are little glowing ether bulbs. And it'll also provide you with saturation. It's about the same as a carrot. So while it doesn't provide necessarily food, we wanted to provide a more unique function for them if a player so chooses to eat it. So that's pretty much what we've worked on so far with the ethereal islands. It's just simply these, trying to get it right, trying to make sure that the forest looks more alien-like, and we're still going to be working on that more with the rest of the biome and the ground coverage. And moving on, we have the Nightshade Forest. A lot of people didn't really like some of the overworld vibes that a lot of the trees were giving off. So we've taken a new direction. Well, I've taken a new direction, and I've revamped it to feel a lot more alien, a lot more magical, mystical. These twisting trees, roots going everywhere, covering everything. Yeah, and now you can find a new, almost like an ore, but it's almost not. It's in the imbued nightshade. So imbued nightshade can be smelted in a blast furnace to give you therium crystals. So it's a nice way to farm them if you want therium, which we'll be expanding upon later. I don't have it to showcase yet, but it's going to, the therium's getting a rework to be more interesting, I guess, rather than just being kind of a lantern block. It's going to have a lot more to it. I just haven't gotten to that yet. And then again, we're going to be adding some new plant life to the nightshade, some new, more unique ground coverage blocks. And a lot of people personally didn't, on our feedback form, they didn't really like some of the contrast of the Nightshade Forest, where they did not know, some people were not satisfied and did not really enjoy looking at the orange to blue hue. And I am looking into toning down the saturation of some of the blocks and toning down and even changing, slightly altering the color of Nightshade to be more yellow, more of a yellowish orange than a just a pure orange. So definitely, I hear you guys. Definitely going to be making efforts to change that, of course. And yeah, and then one of the last, I'd say, major reworks I've finished for the showcase is the is Bulbous. So Bulbous, obviously, I've been teasing a lot lately, so I'll go to that. I just gotta fly around. Okay, well there's the gardens, which is kind of a work in progress. That hasn't been finished yet. So we have these new bulbous trees, and I know, and we're actually going to be utilizing, I haven't implemented it yet, but instead of stems, they're going to be using their wood form, where that's the side texture on all sides. I think it looks a lot nicer, personally, without the exposed purple. And then additionally, bulbous, the stem is going to be receiving a texture rework, so that it's going to use kind of like a root texture. It's going to look more like roots, so it'll just fit better. So instead of this like stem color, it'll be like roots going everywhere. And yeah, so this is the same for the purple. This inspiration came from our bulbous anomalies, which I can showcase actually. Anomalies. So we have obviously a purple and a regular. And they came from this idea of the fact that they kind of move and they levitate. And I kind of wanted that for all of the bulbous. I think that bulbous makes it more alien-like. It makes it feel like an alien biome rather than it just kind of feeling like a reused fungal biome. So you can notice that they do float. It's almost like these have a magical alien way of making these bulbs float, and you can kind of almost see different stages of life that they come in. From they start as little itty bitties, and they get growing, and they get taller and taller. We wanted to add a more dramatic feel to our end biomes. A lot of people felt underwhelmed by them and felt for something like the end they wanted more alien, more dramatic, and things like that. So we've definitely listened and we've heard you, and we've worked a lot on creating more dramatic landscapes and dramatic just like overall feels, so that you're more overwhelmed than underwhelmed when entering a biome. And then here is a look at the purple ones in the Ibis field. Obviously they're the same, just purple. And I noticed a lot of you, what's it called? I can't think. A lot of people saw in our Discord today, Paul posted a picture, and I just wanted, oh, I'm levitating now. Fun fact about anomalies, they make you levitate. And they will be used as a potion ingredient for levitation. We're working on implementing that so that we want utility for our blocks. We want to add more utility for things so you can use them as, what's it called? For a potion ingredient for levitation. So that'll be a very, it'd be neat if you ever need those. And then, yeah. And then, regarding Better End, a lot of people saw that picture posted of that forest, and it was funny because Corgi reached out and he was like, hey, they're working on adding a sub-biome for us, and I was like, oh, like, that's cool, like, what does it look like? And the original one was very cool as well, but the problem was that I was in the middle of making these revamps that completely redid the old bulbous, and their bulbous was kind of based off of the newer, was off of the old one. So I was like, oh no, so I went to their Discord and I sent them the new trees so that they could kind of reformat them to kind of look more similar to these. But yeah. That's pretty much what we've been working on, and what I've been working on for the past couple weeks. Again, there's a lot more to come in this revamp patch than what's being showcased. I'll obviously be teasing and making more either streams, or I might just be doing some like videos too, some like weekly videos. I'm hoping to get the patch out after Christmas week, so in about 1 to 2 weeks. Oh, the Shattered Viscal Isles. Okay, so, Corgi, I did not update my IntelliJ yet, so it currently does not have the Shattered Viscal Isles to showcase today, unfortunately. But with that, regarding that, I would like to talk about some of the technical changes that we've been working on. And yeah, I know, I know, Corgi, I know. But one of them being that we are going to be adding sub-biomes and edge biomes to our nether end content. Starting off with the end, of course. I don't have any sub-biomes to showcase or edge biomes to showcase today, unfortunately, but I will be showcasing them further. One of them is the Shattered Viscal Isles. I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but originally we added one of the first concepts for our Viscal Isles was a more shattered version, and a lot of users really liked it, but that actually was a bug, and we removed it, but we saved the code for them to be used later in a sub-biome, and now we finally have done that. Yes, I saw someone about the Hypogeal sub-biome. Yeah, that will definitely, we're going to be definitely adding more transition biomes to our nether and end content as well. They're going to have, so that things feel more smoother, and we're going to also be doing that to our overworld content when we get to the patch. Yeah, sometimes I like this biome. I think my favorite part about this biome right now is just walking around, and then you just kind of randomly start seeing them floating. Yes, and Corgi brought up a good thing. Is we're going to be adding advancements. This is something that a lot of users have requested, and we hear you. And we're working on making advancements unique to different dimensions, biomes. You know, to give you some fun progressional things, some like little Easter eggs, all that fun jazz. And okay, and what's it called? I just noticed some comment about the sound. We do have some new ambiences coming in. They currently are not implemented yet. Shoutouts to Schmuckly in our Discord. He messaged me and he has provided us some brand new sounds to use, and I'm also working on implementing some more and finding some more. It's pretty difficult. Oh god, they're all falling. It's so scary. But it's a little difficult, but we are working on it, I promise. It is something we also know and we would like to deliver. We believe that the end should have its own sounds and things like that as well, and we're working on it. So yeah. And then I saw as well as Fire having their own color. I don't know if you know this, but this is an overlay that is applied to even vanilla. So if I go to Soul Sand, it's also red. So that's kind of more of a vanilla thing rather than an us thing. That's not really something we forgot to add. That's something that's added by the Fire overlay on default. I can try and look into that. I don't know how difficult it would be. I can try to look in it though, and I can write it down. But yeah, it is kind of something that's normally embedded into it. But yeah, I can try and look to it for just it, but it would only apply for BYG. We couldn't make it apply for anything else, and any other fires aren't going to have that effect. Only would be BIG. So yeah, and then to talk about some of the concepts that will be coming up, because I haven't finished them yet, is a lot of certain biomes that were a little bit boring. Is our Shattered Desert. Our Shattered Desert's getting a huge rework. It's not done yet. I'm still working on it, so I didn't want to showcase it yet because it's very work in progress. I just have like textures and aired model blocks because, you know, custom models. And then there's a couple more things coming to the Ibis Fields. A lot coming to the Ethereal Islands. A lot coming, actually not a ton coming to the Nightshade, just some more flora. And then Cryptic Waste has a couple more things coming. And when I see someone say Bramble, when I heard someone say that, I did mention when I mentioned Bramble and the Cryptic Waste. So I don't know if you know this, but Bramble is a synonym for bush. So it means kind of the same thing. It's just a synonym. So it's not copying another mod. Because it's a real thing. Bramble's a real thing, but we're giving it a twist because our bramble isn't natural. It's a stone bramble. Yeah, so we have a stone bramble, a cryptic stone bramble, and it'll work similarly to coral, how it's placed, how it can place on the walls, and it'll be able to place, hopefully what I'm working on is on the walls, it can hang, and then it can place on the ground too. So it'll have about 3 models, custom models per se for it. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working on right now with the edge biomes and the sub biomes. Obviously, those are going to add some more love for them, and I know one of the things a lot of people talked about was the height, the lack of height, and I can't guarantee that that can be fixed. So how the end works is the end doesn't really have a noise, and while one could say, well, Better End does it, well, Better End uses a feature. That's not natural. The mountains you're seeing, it's not necessarily built into the noise and things like that. It's actually like a structure almost. Not really, but it's a feature. So we can try to look into doing something similar. I've been looking at it, but it's a little difficult because you don't want to directly copy someone, where it would be a little difficult to try and add the major height. But we are looking into it. And for our Purper Peaks, we're also looking into more unique things for it. One being a new ore for it to make it more interesting. Yes, and the giant blobs in the desert, those are being removed. Those are being removed. They are being removed. The little bulbs. Yeah. And yeah, I know. Corgi's like freaking out. He's like, no, not the bulb spears. Yes, they are being removed because the biome's being reworked to have a different feel and have different things. And yeah, so I see the question about the mobs. Our goal isn't necessarily to add mobs. There are people that are working on add-ons. So an add-on mod for BYG that would include mobs for the biomes, but we directly aren't really interested in adding mobs for them. We understand the to bring life to it. It brings more unique diversity to it and things like that. But with that comes a lot of other tasks that we ourselves can't really do, such as AI programming and animation, like mob animation. There's a whole other category to explore that we are just not really interested in dwelling into at this time. I never say no to something directly that it will 1000% never happen in my lifetime, but currently we're just not interested in doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna open the floor to like questions about honestly anything. You could ask about future content, you can ask about behind the scenes, just more in-depth questions about revamps coming to the overworld or the nether, because we have currently 3 patches that we'll be working on. We have a end patch, which is our first patch, our nether patch is the second, and then our third is our overworld patch. So feel free to ask things about that. More overworld biomes. Yes, of course, there will always be more overworld biomes. Not in this patch. Not in any of our 3 patches will there be any new main biomes. We will be adding sub-biomes, but no main biomes in these patches, because these are patch updates rather than major content updates with like major themes. But in 1.2, which is our ocean exploration update, we will be adding new biomes, especially related to islands and oceans, lakes, etc. Atlantis, yes. Bricks and pillars, new building blocks. Yes, there are tons of new building blocks coming. I know, so especially regarding the end revamp patch, actually, what we'll be doing is our cryptic stone, our purper stone, our ether stone, we're going to be adding tons of new decoration blocks for it, like a cracked, a chiseled, and things like that, so that, there's more decoration blocks regarding the stones we've added. And I see a question. More structure themes around end biomes. Yes, so that is not planned for our patch updates, but for 1.2, we have a huge list of structures that we will be adding to all of the dimensions. So we have like a bunch of structures planned for our end content, our nether content, and our overworld content, and for our update 1.2. And that will probably be out mid 2021, since these 3 patches are gonna take a lot. And thank you for the suggestion. I actually am looking into that currently. I did notice that the repetitiveness, yeah, obviously, but it's a little difficult. It can be a little challenging, so it's something I have to work on. Because I'm essentially creating 2 separate animations because it's a 2-block tall block. So I don't know if you can see it. There's the 2 highlights. So I'm created 2 separate animations that correlate with each other. So it can just be a little bit difficult sometimes to make it like that, to make it perfect. But I'm trying, so I will continue working on that. Thank you. Will end biomes get special fog? I don't believe we have that planned. I don't even know if we have the sources to implement that. Yeah, okay, so Corgi answered it. But, yeah. We just currently don't have the utilities to really implement that at this time. In the future, who knows? We could implement it down the road. And, let's see, let me see this question. Yes, river biomes for our 1.2 update. That is actually something we have planned. We have a few rivers written down so far. We have the Amazon River. We have the Nile. So we have a few. We wanted to add a few realistic rivers, some magical rivers. So it's definitely something. Strays to the Sub-Zero. That's actually a very good suggestion. I will add that. Thank you. I'll write that down right now, actually. Wet and Wild Lazy River. Definitely. But yeah, so yeah, we're definitely working on that. 1.2 is going to be a really exciting update. A lot of our users have always wanted more ocean biomes, because we didn't really, I think we've added technically one, but it's not really an ocean biome, the Dead Sea, so we'll also be revamping the Dead Sea as well, to kind of more match its 1.2 vibes, or at least try to make it match 1.2 vibes a little better. Enderman having different colored eyes, that would require a lot of mix-in. We'd have to completely redo Enderman. I feel like that would be a lot of work. I'm not sure, and that could break things. I'm not really sure if that's feasible, because we would have to kind of redo their code. We'd have to mix into that, and mix-in can be a little dangerous when you're doing something like that, especially in that area. So, but it's a nice suggestion. I just don't know if that's possible. It's possible you can think about it. Okay. Well, we'll definitely think about it. It doesn't sound like a bad idea. It sounds kind of cute. I mean, obviously some of them would kind of stay the same, considering some of the biomes are purple themed, but yeah, with the Dead Sea, sunken debris, and things like that, I definitely feel that. That is something I'm going to be working on adding in our 1.2 update. When we get to that, we're going to be adding more sunken ships and ancient debris, or not ancient debris, debris and things like that. We'll be completely redoing the Dead Sea and adding more ocean structures as well, and like ruins and fun things like that. So, yeah. Any more questions? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Dummy biome update when? Have a good day, to Enigma. Dummy update. Nice one, Corgi. Yeah. I always feel, I feel like so many people always like are like, what is it's experimental biome? Like it's our testing it's our testing biome. It's where we test features and things like that. Like these trees and all these have all been in that biome before. We've all tested them there. So yeah. And I noticed the past couple days because another terrain should be smoothed out. I was feeling the end of Minecraft Strange Gen. Unfortunately, that's not really under our control. We utilize and go into the default world, meaning we use Minecraft's noise. Game too loud. Okay, here, I'll turn it down. There you go. Possibility of canyons. Yes, canyons is definitely something we can look for in the future. And slime, I think you would essentially need to have a mod similarly, if you wanted to smooth it out, quote unquote, you would need to use, I would say, simplex noise. But you would have to kind of make your own world type, or you would have to mix into the default world and completely change it, which would not be a very ideal process because that would kind of break everyone else's mods that generate there. Yeah, we do have there is a canyons biome in the mod. It's turned off by default. You can go in the config and re-enable it if you'd like. But, yeah, but we will be re-exploring it and polishing it for a future version. But the bark textures on top and sides and downwards for the tree. So, Fireface, I don't know if you joined later, but when I first started talking about the bulbous, we are going to be using the bark texture on all four. We're going to be using their wood block. So there is a bulbous wood. So we are going to be using this block. And I see Prince about the biome suggestions that were approved before Beauty of Nature becoming, stuff like blue and snowy aspen forests and purple Zocova. I'm gonna say it's possible. It just depends. It might not come as a main biome. It could be a sub biome. We don't want to we don't want to overuse, like, we like variation in some things, but we don't want to make sure that we don't want to add like a million different kinds of aspen and Zelkova. We currently added what's it called? We added the brown Zelkova for the Twilight, or I think that's what it's called. Yeah, one of our other biomes. So we added the brown Zelkova. But and then, is there any way you guys could remove the ponds that Vanilla Lakes add? We actually do have them removed. In all BYG biomes, there are no lake biomes. There's no lake features. Yeah, so there are no lake features in any of our biomes. That's why we have our lake biomes. Our lake sub-biomes replace those. So, any plans for the unused bog biome? That is a sub-biome of the cold swamplands. The bog, yeah, it should be a sub-biome of the cold swamplands. But we will be redoing the cold and vibrant swamplands in the future, so. And Quark, I believe we work with Quark. Then that might be a bug. I remember when we were adding the new configs for everything, we had to redo all the biome classes to work with them. So there could have been some confusion, and the bog might not have been implemented to the cold swamplands. I can look into that and I can fix it, and it'll probably be out in this patch, this end patch, for sure if it's a bug. Hi, Spare. You are awake. That is cool. What do you think about an End and Nether inspired biome in the overworld. It kind of depends where it can fit. We do like certain aspects of certain ideas. We have thought about certain ideas in the past similarly. If it were to be something, it would probably be similar to Skulk. The Skulk, because it very resembles the end and the end of our themes of the end, while still technically not remaining end content in regards to normal Minecraft. It just depends, because it can be difficult to add something that feels so out of place. Like, we've added some very oddball biomes in the past, but when we do, it's usually not like something completely from the end and things like that, or from a dimension, because we usually like to keep those biomes here, especially when we can create content for our nether and end, since they have a lot fewer biomes than our overworld. So if we think of an end or nether biome, we usually would like to place it in those respective categories. What will you do with 117's caves and cliffs? We will be adding caves. We have a lot of plans for cave biomes when the update comes, and yeah, we do have plans for that, don't worry. As soon as I saw it, we were super excited about it. We would love to go and dwell into those ideas, and when 117 releases, definitely add tons of cave biomes for us. So yeah, I'm surprised you work with Forge and Fabric. That was a very difficult decision to come to originally. It was because it can be twice as much work sometimes. Thankfully, we've developed some ways to get faster ways of porting things and things like that. A lot of because they're not too different. They're just all kind of all of their names are kind of different in the code wise. Like the mapping is very different for them, so it can be a little difficult to So that's pretty much what it mostly is. But it's not too difficult to support both anymore. It used to be a little bit, but we've made all the concept the same. Helping other mods with it, you would have to ask Corgi about that. Corgi does a lot more of the fabric porting than I do. I usually only go in and fix fabric bugs. I don't usually port stuff. Like, for example, this end patch, Corgi is going to do the porting over. He has a tool that kind of converts things automatically. Yeah, so... And he just answered, yeah. But yeah. And let's see. I saw Spare. You said you missed a lot. This is being recorded and will be uploaded to the channel. It will be uploaded to my YouTube channel, so you can watch it there after it ends. So don't worry about that. You'll be fine. How do you port mods? Well, we take our BYG what's it called? Project in IntelliJ. We apply it to Fabric, and a bunch of things error and mess up, and then we just fix them. I actually do have vids on this time. I made sure I checked. So this video is actually being recorded. How do you port to newer versions of Fabric or Forge? Well, we get the latest version off their website, and you kind of just insert it in, and you update it to be with that one now, and then you get a bunch of errors, and then you fix that. It's a very similar process. You just kind of add it in. There's obviously a more detailed version of that, but to break it down, you add it in, you get a bunch of red errors, and you just fix them. Source code, yeah. Source code's pretty helpful. Source code, it's called. Yeah. When are sub-biomes coming for the end? They're coming in this patch. Spare. They'll be coming in this patch. I'm going to be adding an edge biome for all of the biomes. All biomes are receiving an edge biome, and a lot of biomes are receiving sub biomes, if not all. I still have to plan them out a little more, but they will. Almost all of them will be receiving a sub biome. Yes, the notorious spikes being cut. It says never mind. Oh, rest in peace. So edge biomes, for example, an edge biome would be a real one from normal Minecraft is the jungle edge. I don't know if you know that, the jungle edge biome. It surrounds an entire, so it kind of just encompasses the outside, the edges of the regular biome. In and itself is a sub biome, but it's just labeled differently because it does something differently. Will any plants besides bulbous thing get any use? Yes. Yes, they will. We're adding more utility plant. There'll be more flora that will have utilities as well. They are not the only ones. No, the bulbous anomaly is not the only thing. We're going to be adding some more blocks and things like that with unique things and purposes. Show us the Shattered Desert. It's not done. That one, there's a few biomes that have not been finished, and they're still being worked on. So the edge biomes will be creating are going to be used for specifically the end and the nether are used to create a smooth transition into the biome. So currently one could say the bulbous gardens, by the way, is a huge. This is not done at all. It looks kind of ugly right now. Ignore it. But currently you see how this water like kind of flows and the biome just kind of just gets cut off here. There will be an edge biome here that'll kind of prevent these issues from happening and will create a smoother transition. So in the bulbous gardens, we are going to be separating them. So the purple bulbous is going to be exclusive to Ibis fields, and regular bulbous is going to be in the bulbous gardens. I wanted to do this to kind of like separate them almost, so that obviously separate them. And then sub-biomes, obviously, we're going to be doing some things. For the Ibis fields, we're going to be adding a sub-biome called the purple bulbous forest. So you can get a more dense version. Yeah. So it'll have a smoother transition between things and different biomes, so that you're not kind of just like walking into a cryptic wastelands. So you're not just kind of like cut off and you go from this Ibis phylum all the way right next to a cryptic stone. They'll have a more smooth transition. An ETA. So an estimated time for this patch is going to be the week after Christmas. So it'll be arrived in about 2 weeks. Ascendium is that data pack, right? Well, the thing is, these are edge biomes, so I don't believe they will cause any issues with Incendium, because it's our biome, like it won't like apply, like, I don't know how to put this, like, and it won't be over here, like, this end barren that's right here, the edge will be like here, it'll be like from here to here. Like, it'll be like this stretch will be the edge, and then this will be the garden. You see a lot of floating trees. Yes, because these are trees that I just finished today, and the code that we have that creates the trunks to go downward have not been implemented in these, because these trees were literally made this morning. I woke up early and I was working on them and implementing them so that I could at least showcase them for you guys today. And then imagine floating bulbous lily pads. We do actually, for this biome specifically, we have that planned similarly. We have the ender lily, and the ender lily is going to, its current texture is a little off. It's not going to be what it finally is because I'm reworking it and it's going to actually work this time. Because right now I added it and it just refuses to spawn. It will not spawn in these waters, but I'm working on a way to get that. And it'll have a new custom model to go with it. And the Ender Lilies will, when you step on them, will teleport you randomly, kind of like chorus fruit. So they will randomly teleport you around like a chorus fruit when you step on them. I'm curious about Shattered Desert. I can talk about Shattered Desert. I can't showcase it because there's nothing there yet for it because I'm working on the textures and blocks still. We're essentially going to be making giant mutated cactuses and other side things to go with that. We still want it to be a desert. We're going to be giving it its own sand rather than reusing white and black sand from the overworld. It's going to have its own sand block with a sandstone as well. Keep that in mind. There will be a sandstone for it. And creating a world is super slow. I would suggest dedicating more RAM to your Minecraft is my suggestion. If you're running like 4, that's not enough. You should use 8 gigabytes. Well, I unfortunately that's just how it is. Some biomes are heavier performance. If you're noticing a biome that causes you more lag, you can disable it in our config. You can data pack it. If you believe the density of the trees are too much, you can data pack that as well. So with that, we obviously, with the TP of the Ender Lily, I do like to try and go by Minecraft's philosophy and the fact that anything bad that can happen to a player can be avoided or by choice. And while it would be your choice to step on the Ender Lily, you will be able to use either Soul Speed or I believe it's Soul Speed or what's it called? Yeah, Soul Speed or Frostwalker, and then it won't teleport you. And then, what's it called? That's also another thing with the anomalies. If you have Soul Speed on your boots and you walk through the anomalies, it won't apply the floating effect to you. So we do have a way around it if you don't constantly like walking through them and floating. You can put Soul Speed on them and you won't float. Also, you should make some of the old trees spawn. The old trees, we could. I don't really want to though, if I'm being quite honest, because I really want to take the bulbous in a new direction based on the new concept of the fact that the bulbous trees kind of float now and have a more mystical vibe that follows the anomalies. And what about the warped desert? We do have new stuff coming for the warped desert in the nether. I'll talk a lot more about it and showcase it when we get to our nether patch. I haven't really begun working on any of the nether patches. I have some ideas for them, but I haven't begun working on them because I've been working on our end content for a while. But there is plans to revamp the warped desert, yes. And I think there's some cool things coming for that too. That will be, again, utility based. We're going to be adding utility to our nether biomes as well so that there are more reasons to go there. Purple water could poison or slow players. We are looking into custom liquids. A lot of players have been wanting custom fluids, and we are looking into that. It's something we would like to do. So that is a possibility. We could technically add that. Cryptic lava, yes, that is. That's another one that we've also been looking into. I don't know if that's something we can do this revamp patch. It just depends on our time frame because we are trying to get this goal. We are trying to get it out in a couple weeks because we do have some major bugs that we want to release too with it. Bug fixes. Caves. Corgi was working on trying to get caves for the Cryptic Wastelands. Unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to do. We have not been successful. He's been asking around. I don't know if that's coming. I can't guarantee that. I have a feeling it probably isn't. Corgi's been very busy, and a lot of people saying ask better end about it. I know that's but the thing is, we don't want to directly copy how they do things. That would reflect badly on us. We like to try and make things on our own. That's something you can ask Corgi. He is the one who wanted to do that and would be in charge of that, so that is something you would need to ask him. I don't really have a truthful answer for that currently. But yeah, caves are definitely something we did want to do and would like to do for some of the biomes. We just don't know if that's something we can implement at this time for this patch. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like having someone kind of like help you do it and giving you the tools to do it, because that's the thing, is they wouldn't like point you in the right direction. They would say, oh, like, here, just look at our code, because they are open source. So in theory, we could just look at their code and take things if we wanted to. They're open source, we have the same license. But obviously you don't do that, because that's kind of morally wrong and ethically wrong to do when you're trying to make something unique, and you want it to feel like it's your work, not the work of someone else. Endermite and shulker nests. So for the shulker forest, I do plan on similar things. But those are actually going to be structures in 1-2. For our nightshade forest, we do have a I don't know if you know this, phantoms do rarely spawn in the nightshade forest, and we do have plans for phantom nests. Ibis Phylum does not have an animation. No, it does not. You can take a look at it. There's no animation for it. Endermite nests, those could be cute. We could definitely look into Endermite and shulker nests. What you're probably looking at is what you probably saw was the anomalies. Spare is the little animation on the anomalies. Yeah, there's no custom animation on Phylum. A lot of people found it kind of just gave them a headache, and it looked really weird, so it was removed, and it was kind of changed to more match more recent and modern content. But yeah, regarding artwork, I know a lot of people were wanting better artwork that was more unique, and I'll just say I am working on them. I'm working on a lot of artwork revamps for a lot of things, so that it looks nicer and that it feels better and that it's more appealing. When can we get snapshots like Beauty of Nature? We could do a snapshot. Don't want to do one just yet, but maybe sometime next week I could release a snapshot. Maybe. And I know Corgi's saying no, but I'm saying maybe. It just depends if we're comfortable with releasing, because the problem with releasing snapshots is, especially with us, is the community often tends to believe that they are finalized when we release patches, and that the things we're working on are finalized, and then tend to get very rudely critiqued about it rather than helpful critiques. They just kind of say it sucks, or they don't like it, or it's lacking this, when, you know, it's like it's not finished. And so, and Spare, they are patches because we're patching content that existed that happened in an update. Because there's not necessarily themes, and it's not a lot. Exactly, like someone might accidentally download it for their first time and see a bunch of unfinished stuff, and then they will will think our mod's very unpolished when it's not. It's just snapshot. Even though we would label things like that, you would be surprised at how many people don't read and will just download it anyways. They're more than just patches. We're viewing them as patches. I know we're adding blocks and things like that, but those are all in the love of revamps, and we're just trying to give you guys something more exciting than what's currently available. So, yeah, these are all considered part of 1-1. They are not going to be their own updates. Could have particles in the blocks. We're actually working on implementing something a little more fun. We're actually working on implementing something very fun for them. It's funny you mentioned having something inside the bulbs, because we actually are working on putting something inside the bulbs. I don't know if we want to reveal that yet. I don't know if I want to reveal that yet, because it's a very exciting feature, our functionality that we want to do. It's very, what's the word? Like different. Like it's new. It's a new concept. It does, and we're not going to fill it with a block necessarily, if that gives anything away. But there may be a new kind of air block that you wouldn't want to touch. And once you expose said air block to regular air, it would kind of dissipate and disappear over time. The obsidian pillars, so those are staying. You can data pack them out if you would like. You can remove the feature completely or adjust the heights. But yeah. Have I touched the purple peaks at all? Currently no. But I do have I have textures and blocks made for that. I just haven't gotten around to it because my primary focus is on all of the forest biomes. Yeah, our data packs allow you to do a lot of things, you guys. A lot of people tend to come to us and complain about certain things, or talk about or suggest and say how they don't like something. And we promise you, we really do give you the tools, and we have video tutorials and things like that. Utilize them. You really can make this mod your own, and you can make it something that is more tailored towards you or your friend's style. You really can do that. You can data pack things, and you can change a lot of aspects of things. You could remove this water surface builder if you didn't like it. You could completely change what trees spawn here and what plants spawn here. You can do a lot of things with data packing if you just try. It promise, like you'll get very satisfied with it. If there's something you don't like, you can really change it. And yeah, with Purple Peaks, yeah, there is going to be changes going to it. It wasn't one of my major focuses though, because like I said, the forests are the biggest priority. A lot of people, those are probably one of the more let down biomes. What are the forests? All of the forest biomes. And the cryptic wastes, because a lot of people felt the cryptic waste felt really out of place. So we're trying to, well, we know it will never please everyone, because obviously some people. Well, the thing with data packs is you don't actually code at all in them. You kind of just replace words. You literally just, instead of add feature name, you remove that and put add feature different name. So. Yeah, we know, we recognize it's kind of boring. Hence why I said we want to try and get height variation to things, but we just can't guarantee it at this time. But we're looking into it. But yeah, primary focus is the forests, because we want all of the forests to feel more alien-like, and more end-vibey. Let's see, purple peas. Can we see the cryptic waste? I can showcase it. I did showcase it. It was the first part of the stream spare, but you did miss it, so I will showcase it again. Water's a little messy. Yes, so that's why we are looking to add a new liquid. And that's also the reason for the edge biome. The edge biome is meant to fix up the messiness of the liquid, and we were looking into adding a liquid that won't harm the Enderman. So here is our cryptic waste. Here's just kind of like a little thing. Some of the vents. And we're going to be adding a cryptic stone, it's like a stone bramble. And Spare, since you missed it, it'll be, I'm trying to look, I can't guarantee it, I'm trying though, is that it can go on the side of a block, hang from a block, and go on top of a block. So it'll have like 3 models in one block. It'll similarly to coral, like the coral fans, how they can do things. Keeps buffering. It might be. I'm sorry. I think I know what it is. I know what it is. My computer decided to hate me, and it's updating something right now, and it won't let me not pause it. So that's fun. But yeah. So I see, what if the cryptic vents could get bigger? I'm currently satisfied with the vents and how they look and function at the moment. I personally like them. I do remember, I think it was Spare that suggested that they kind of almost grow. And with that, I don't really want to implement, I was talking about this earlier, is I don't really want to have a natural feel for this biome. This biome, I want it to be a very stone-like and things like that, so that's why we added the vents. And that's why we're going to be adding like stone brambles and our cryptic like thorns that are made of like the stone and everything. So we want it to be very stone and like petrified almost, rather than being organic. We want it up to be a more inorganic biome. And hello. How you could use custom particles for those vents. Very possible. I'm actually I really like using the smoke. I think it fits very well. But I mean, it's possible. I don't think we have ever added custom particles, so we'd have to create a registry for that. How do you edit NBT files? I have no idea. I think Telepathic knows. I think Telepathic knows, if you know him, and he's in our Discord. I think he knows how to do that, but I have no idea how to do that. An MBT editor, that would, see? Right there. So yeah. And yes, so that's pretty much what it is. Oh, I can talk about this a little more for the Shattered Isles. So, our Vermilion Sculpt got a little bit of retexture. This is not finalized at all, still being worked on. That was just one of the concepts. Our Therium crystals are going to be utilized similarly to the Amethyst crystals in 117. They're going to have a block that is unharvestable and will spawn in not necessarily a geode form, but very similarly on the islands you can find it, and they will be growable. The Therium crystals will be growable now and things like that. Will that ore in this biome get any new uses? The Therium crystals? Are you referring to the Therium crystals? Yes, okay, so yeah, there is more uses coming for them. There's more utility that's going to be added for them. I believe currently they just make those, and they make the lantern. Yeah, they currently just make these things. But no, we are adding, and lignite. Lignite is a fuel source, so that is kind of its main purpose, but definitely I can look into it. I was thinking about with lignite possibly making it a super compost, since lignite is a more earthy carbon fuel source. I was thinking about making it like 1 to 2 lignite can like instantly fuel a compost bin, so that it can be a very good source of like bone meal and things like that. A utility that one might not necessarily always think about, but would still be there and would be kind of interesting. And yeah, so Therium will have more uses. The vents burn you. Yes, they do. Unless you have Frostwalker on. If you have Frostwalker, they won't hurt you, but besides that, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of burny things in this biome, so Frostwalker recommended. Yeah, I'd say one of the things that will be really fun for redstoners is the use of being able to have a redstone signal from a lantern, a fire in the campfire. You'd be surprised what you can do with that. You'd be surprised. Especially the lantern. Because the lantern hangs, you can almost get redstone signals from, like, you can get redstone signals from, like, above it. and things like that. Like, because it could transmit a redstone signal above it from the block it's being hung on. So, there's a lot of possibilities. Custom redstone components for cryptic stuff. I was actually thinking about that. Spare, that's a really great idea. I was thinking about the fact that probably with the cryptic vents and the tall cryptic vents, that when you put well, I know Corgi's saying no, but he doesn't make the block properties. I do. There is actually, I've been working on, it's not finalized yet and I'm still testing it, but I was working on the fact that when you activate it, it can't be directly, it'll only be activated when redstone dust connects to it. So if I were to do, you're not going to see it, by the way, because obviously nothing's going to happen because it's not implemented, but if you did this, it would almost like superpower it, and it will, like a big puff of cloud will shoot out and launch you in the air. So if you were to stand on top of it, place it, activate it, it'll do like a big puff of smoke, and then you'll bounce in the air high. And it'll launch you in the air. I'm working on it. I'm looking at a lot of different code to make sure that could happen. Not sure if you're using Forge or Fabric, but could you use a mod that connects your Twitch chat to your Minecraft so you won't have to look at your channel to answer us? I don't have a mod like that integrated yet. I can look into it. I'm using Forge. The problem is that I'm using the test environment for IntelliJ. I am not using my normal Minecraft client, so I don't believe you can add Minecraft mods to the test client. They might have fixed that. I don't know if they fixed that, actually. I remember you originally couldn't in the newer versions, but they might have patched that finally. I just don't know. But yeah, I definitely wanted... Yeah, hence the Steve hand. I'm currently dev user, blah, 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 blah. You suggested something for the Purple Peaks. I didn't see it. Could you type it again? Could you type it again, Spare? I didn't see it. It just got eaten by the chat. Yeah, I can definitely look at it. He's typing. Okay, yeah. I can't see that, but yeah. Oh, he typed in Discord. Okay, so I can't look at it right now, but later when the stream ends, I'll look at it and we can talk about that. Okay? I just can't really look at my Discord right now. But yeah, Purple Peaks will be interesting. And I'm also removing the scorched grass and the bushes, by the way. Those are being removed. This is funny Slime said that, yeah. This normally is supposed, like, this is from the magmatic wastelands, and I kind of just threw it in here. I don't like it, though. Nobody liked it. It's being removed. It's being replaced with the bramble stuff. Because we're adding bramble, Spare, so it'll fit better, and it won't contrast as highly. There'll be a stone cryptic bramble that will instead be here, and it'll be inorganic. It won't be an organic plant. It'll be inorganic. But yeah, definitely with the Cryptic Waste, wanted to get this redstone vibe for it, which is why we added so many new redstone components for it. That's still an organic plant, though. Just because something dead doesn't mean it's organic or inorganic. How will the sub-biome... So for this, I'm not too sure. I haven't come up with a direct concept for a sub-biome for the Cryptic Waste. Edge biome will just probably fade from Cryptic Stone more to like an end stone. So it'll kind of have like a fade so that you can like transition better. And it'll feel more like its own. And yeah, we might do like a clearing sub-biome possibly where you don't have these. So there won't be any of these pillar things in the sub-biome, so it'll be kind of like a clearing to say. Something like that. It won't be like too heavy. They'll just be kind of more like visual things that you won't necessarily notice, but would be. And redstone geodes. So, while it is possible, I'm not really sure how to do that at the moment. Um, it's a neat idea, but I'm not too sure how I can implement that at the moment. If I can find a way, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But it is a nice idea. I do like that. I do really like the geodes from 117, and it could definitely happen. I'd have to figure out a way for that. So, with the Central End Portal redesign, so I think a lot of people tend to forget, and that's okay, is that energetic expansion or better end and things like that, their mods are primarily focused around the content that they're worked on, if that makes sense. So it's kind of in their scope to do something like that. However, with our mod, we're not technically really like meant to even like be here. Like we kind of we added another end because it was so heavily requested and we thought they would be cool. That we wanted to do it, but we don't want to redesign base gameplay things. We just don't really believe it's in the scope of this mod. For things like better end and energetic, it is in their scope because they primarily focus on that content. Well, end and nether is not our primary focus for this mod, and neither is the nether. Our primary focus is ultimately the overworld. We've just wanted to add something, to spice up it. And it could be an add-on, very true. I personally would just think maybe one would use energetic expansion with BYG, and then you could get the bolt and you could get the best of both worlds. I'm not sure what their plans are for that or things like that. I'm not really sure, but who knows. I will say for 1.2 with the structures, we are adding some cute new things. They have an updated 1.16 figures. I don't know. Well, hopefully they do. I remember that mod. As small as it is, it's very pretty, and I like the content they put in it. It's very cute. So yeah, any more questions? I feel like they would, though. I feel like eventually all the world gen's gonna catch up to 1.16.4. It's kind of becoming like a spring sub-biome would fit the cryptic waste. That is true. If we ever get to adding lava, if we can figure out how to add a cryptic lava and things like that, that is definitely a really good sub-biome. I'll write that down. Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Oh, thank you, Tyrus, for that. See, I told you, yeah, they are work. I was gonna say, a lot of those biomes have to be working on it. Any more questions? Fire needs a bit less saturation. Yeah, I can do that. That'll be easy. I was actually kind of thinking the same thing a little bit earlier ago. I just haven't gotten to it, but yeah, I can lower the saturation of the fire. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're stoked for it. I'm very happy. I'll be very pleased to release this, and then obviously I feel like each patch will suit other people's needs. Some people like the end content more. Some people like the nether content more. So. Of course, I'm glad to do the showcase. I wanted to do this just to like interact with you guys, talk about it. I feel like we've been doing so many like feedback surveys and things like that. I wanted to, of course, just like talk about it. Will the other nether biomes get any unique ores? I don't want to confirm that because it just depends what ends up really happening, but I do have, I will say, overall, there is new ores planned. There is, for example, there is a new, for 1.2, we do have a new ocean ore coming that will have very unique properties to it that I think a lot of users might find very fun. I won't spoil anything though. I'm not going to talk about it in depth because it's very work in progress, and they're more just written down concepts. But we do have, and I saw with the gigantic bulbous. The gigantic bulbous. That is possible. We are looking into adding more large trees similarly to the redwoods in size, essentially. But we want to make them, we would make them rare so that they're not too much. We don't want to add a heavy thing on the world gen. And I'm going down answering questions. Nether biomes, unique ore. Yeah, but yeah, I do have plans for unique ores for the nether. They won't have traditional uses such as tools and armor. We're straying away from that as much as possible. We don't want to add things like that. So when we add ores, we want them to have a different functionality rather than just being a tool and an armor set. The only exceptions would be those. And so what's the story with glacial? Oh, Penderite. So Penderite is a legacy ore. Originally, I was not going to re-add the ores from Legacy 112. A lot of users really wanted them back. They wanted that excitement of going to those biomes and finding them. And I know a lot of users, some users, tend to get a little disappointed in the fact they don't feel like the progression adds up, that you go to the nether and then you come back to the overworld to upgrade it. And while the thing is, ancient debris spawns everywhere in the nether. While when we have almost 100 plus biomes in the overworld and you can only find that ore in one of them, it actually makes Penderite and Ametrine more rare than ancient debris. You can actually, it can potentially make it more rare. And so Penderite, I will actually in 1.2, because 1.2 was also, while it is ocean exploration, it's also based on an adventure update as well, hence because we're adding the structures and things like that. I was going to take a look at, there's a few blocks, major ones getting revamped, would be Scoria Stone. A lot of people don't like Scoria Stone, and I agree with them. It's very old, it's pretty much 112 legacy textures. They were never really changed. They're getting completely redone, and they're going to be secluded to a specific biome in 1.2. A specific ocean biome, might I ask, or might I say. Scoria will be exclusive, only found there in 1.2, and a new biome, ocean biome for it. So, yeah. And then Penderite and Ametrine will be receiving some texture overhauls, not like gameplay overhauls though. If you're assuming Scoria, I'm not really sure what you mean by redstone block. I'm gonna assume Scoria Stone. It's a redstone. Here, I can pull it up actually. Are you referring to this? Yes, so that is the stone that is getting completely redone and is also being secluded to a specific biome. So it won't spawn in every biome. It will only spawn in a new ocean biome that will be coming out in 1.2. And it will also have some more function. It'll also, because it'll be a more unique stone, it will have more than just decoration. It'll have a couple functionality as well to it. So yeah, I do have plans for that. A glacial oak. The story about glacial oak. So glacial oak was supposed to come in 1.1, but if I'm being honest, I was very exhausted. I had been working on that update since about June, July, and I was just kind of exhausted, and I needed a break. That's why you can kind of see, and I'm very understanding of the fact that the end content was the last content to be worked on for that 1.1, hence why it kind of had the least quality, because I was exhausted. I was just very tired, mentally, because I spent hours coding, building, working, and revamping. It was a lot of work to do. A mini Christmas update. The only thing with that, Spirit, is that we are working on this update. We can't really, because this update's kind of coming out in a couple weeks, and it's kind of already on the main branch is the problem. So we can't really do that now. It's a little too late for that. But in our overworld revamp, we are adding the glacial oak back. That biome will be making its way in patch 3. So I will let you know that. It was something planned. And yeah. And glad you're back. Well, thank you. I am too. I had to take a break because I had a lot of school going on. I had finals. I was just very, very busy and tired for the past few months. But yeah. We do want to do like Christmas updates and things like that in the future. Currently, we're just very busy. We're working on. We want to polish, as we are doing with these patches. We really want to take time to polish these biomes for you guys to make them more interesting and fun to play with. So, while I would love to add a little Christmas tree, I think takes priority personally. I find it to take more priority right now. But once, maybe in the future, when we can plan that out easier, I could definitely be working to doing something like that for like Easter, Christmas, things like that. Would be definitely cute and fun to explore. And let's see. All right, any more questions? How about ambient sounds? Ambient sounds are being worked on. Yes. I said this earlier. Shout out to Smuckley. He did a fantastic job on some of the sound music backgrounds. We don't have them fully implemented yet. I believe actually we can go here. More purple and coarse fruits. Possibility. That's a great suggestion, Slime. I can definitely look into that. I'm going to kind of turn all of this off for a second. And I'm going to turn this up, and I'll let you listen. It's going to be a little loud, so you might want to turn it down, but this is one of the sounds that Schmuckley has made. Trying to be quiet so you can hear it better. And I don't know if you can listen if you're hearing it, but and this wasn't necessarily intentional, but when I heard the audio, it sounds a lot like the Skulk sensors when they're activated. I don't know if you've ever seen Snapshot yet, but they kind of sound like distant Skulk, and we felt it fit the Viscal Isles very perfectly. We actually won't really need to change the Skulk names because Skulk is in 117 its own thing. Our Skulk is called Vermilion Skulk because it's vermilion colored. Vermilion is a color, so the names actually won't need to be changed when 117 comes out because they are technically different. I didn't make them exactly the same, name-wise and color-wise, so yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'll turn that down again. Hopefully you guys heard that a bit and enjoyed it. Again. Oh no, you're totally okay. Oh no, you're fine. It was a very valid question. It was definitely something I had in mind when making the Skulk. Yeah. So this is just one of them. We have more coming out for the biomes that are going to be implemented. And when that happens, I'll probably make some YouTube videos on them. And I'll put them on the channel for you to listen to. You can just listen to the biome ambiences. I know, right? I love it. He did a fantastic job with them. Huge credit to him. Fantastic job with these. I absolutely love them. And yeah. When he was working on them, I sent him a video of, I don't know if you know this, but it's a real life thing. Each planet generates its own frequency. So I sent him a video of all of the frequencies of every planet in our solar system. And a lot of the sounds and things are based on the frequencies of different planets in the solar system. And a lot of the biomes for the end sounds do that. So with Aetherstone is built to be both a stone and a brick, because there is very open-ended lore to this biome. I talked about this in the first update when we first showcased this biome. So essentially, no, it doesn't have planets. We felt because the end is a very alien-like world, we wanted the ambience sounds to be alien-like. So we used frequencies from from real planets as part of their ambient sounds. Yeah, so you'll just notice when you're walking through the biomes, you'll hear a lot of these different sounds, and those are actually sounds of different planets. We just thought it would fit very well with the theme of the end and would make it feel more like alien vibes. And, okay, back to the Etherstone. So the lore of the Ether is, and with the Skulk, is we view the Skulk as almost like an infection. And then it kind of ties into the stream's buffering again. Well, I think I don't, is anyone else having issues? I don't know if anyone else is having issues. Apologies, I can't really fix it. There's really nothing I can do. I don't seem to be having any issues. You're buffering too. I apologize. Unfortunately, it's just gonna have to. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we're just gonna have to deal with it. I don't really have a fix for it. Unfortunately, I can't really fix that. It might just be Wi-Fi issues. It happens. Even though I have good Wi-Fi and sometimes I still buffer a little, it just happens. My apologies. I can't really fix that, but anyways, just some little insights. So essentially, the reason a lot of people first question, well, why does the ethereal islands and the viscal islands use the same stone? They both use this ether stone, and that's because essentially many Minecraft years ago, this used to be a once ancient thriving civilization. And we've included that. There's a reason there's these more chunky looking things, because these are meant to be almost like ruined buildings, in a sense. And essentially what happened is this skulk growth infected the end, and the only way to get rid of it and to stop the spread from the other islands was to shatter it. So they shattered, they essentially just wiped out this whole area so that it can't spread to the rest of the end, is essentially. Very open-ended, but yes. So that's why the skulk kind of lives on its own island, its own little area, and hence why it kind of shaves it. And that's why the Etherstone is a brick, because it was an ancient civilization. So this was brick a long time ago, but has now... It is now a stone because of how ancient it is, but it was once a brick. So it's meant to be kind of like a two-in-one. It's both a stone and a brick, so you can use it without needing to make it a brick. But we are going to be adding new things. Any new end ores. We did actually add new end ores. We have, what's it called? Can't think. It's the, we have the redstone, cryptic redstone ore. We have the, we're going to be adding a new ore to the Purpur Peaks. How did the crystals get here? The crystals, that is very open-ended. I don't know. They do grow, naturally, and so does Skulk, actually. The Skulk growth, over time will grow like a mushroom. We are not planning any new mobs. That question. We don't have any mobs planned for BYG. It's just not really in our scope. We're not really interested in doing it. But I won't never say completely 100% no. But we're just not super planning for it. Yeah, and a Purpur iron ore, Spare. It was something. It was a community suggestion from Spare, and we decided we would like to go with it. I'm seeing ruby, sapphire, amethyst. We do have plans for new gem ores, gemstones, but those are not coming in this update. They are coming in 1.2. One of our new ocean ores is very similar to some of the ones mentioned, and we will not be adding amethyst since amethyst is being added in 117. Armor, no. I will say this, we will not be adding any more armor and tool sets. Ametrine and Pendrite are the only ones we will look into. We're adding, I don't know how about this. Like, when we add ores, we want them to have unique properties and unique things. I am the builder for the showcase. I make all of this. Well, Corgi and I do. We're the creators. We're the only people who work on the mod. Alright. Thank you for joining, of course. And what if therium crystals could go with those blocks? Where the giant crystal spikes? Yeah, Mystic did help with the islands. He's had a lot of shoutouts, and he's in like the credits too on the description what's it called? The files for the update and things like that, and shoutouts on our, and I believe it's on the website too, and he's in the patch notes as well. But yeah, the islands were made by Mystic with the help of Mystic, but yeah, we develop and design the mod and all of its like looks and things, and the showcase and all this is all done by me. So yeah, and none of this was built, by the way. This is all naturally generated, because I know you said who is your builder for the showcase. It's all naturally generated. None of this was built prior. None of it's like for to show. It's just all naturally generated. Oh yeah, they do hurt you. Yeah, they do hurt you. Yeah, I'm just in creative. They actually do a lot of damage. As you can see, I went from full hearts to none in like a second. 117's copper, I mean, that's up to them. We're not adding copper. We don't really want to add ores that are being added already. We personally just like to add more different functionalities to ores when we add them. So we don't want to just keep adding tool set, armor set, armor set, armor set. Yeah, we just, we did it for Pendrite and Ametrine because that was that is their initial design, but when we add new ores, we like to give them different uses, rather than making them all have the same thing. We just try to we don't want to be repetitive on that, because that causes a lot of progression, and we don't want to add too much, we don't want to be styled upon adding a ton of progression to the game, because again, we are a biome mod. We're just kind of more meant to add feels. We do add some progression-based things, but we don't like it to be our main concept and theme. But I won't deny that certain ores, while maybe not having an armor set or a tool set, could have a unique tool associated with it that isn't standard, or could create something that could be used as a utility or a defense in its own way. I won't deny that, but just traditional armor and tools, no, we won't be seeing any more of those with the ores. We removed fog. It was causing a lot of issues with Optifine and other biome mods, so that was featured in our 115 builds, but is no longer present in 116, unfortunately, and we will not be adding it back. It was just too buggy. It was not very good. Sky colors, we can look into sky color. We have for a little bit. And there's certain biomes that I can change the sky color for. However, a long time ago, BYG, Legacy, all the biomes used to have custom sky colors, and a lot of people didn't really like that. They didn't like the inconsistency on it. So only a select few biomes will have custom sky colors. But it is definitely something I can do for the revamps. The revamps or the overworld. It was a config option. It just was nobody. It was so broken, and almost, I'd say for every 10 people that played, 9 people didn't use it and liked it, and it would just kept causing them issues even when turned off. And it's kind of annoying to have to update that code constantly and maintain it when no one's really using it. It's just kind of a waste of our resources and things like that. So it just wasn't really something we wanted to do. Yeah. There's other mods that add things like that, and there's, I'm sure there eventually could be. It's, you could definitely do things like that in the future for other mods. So that's the wonder about mods, is if one mod doesn't add it, you can guarantee there will be eventually one mod that will. And if one doesn't, who's to say you can't be that one to do it, you know? But yeah, Therium crystals, will have like a geode-ish type vibe to them. They'll grow on a crystal block. They'll have different stages and can only be harvested there because we want to make the Therium more useful and like stuff. So there'll be that. Any more questions? Okay. Alright, I'm going to say, if there's any last questions, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I need to get lunch. I'm hungry. So, because it's currently in the afternoon for me. So, I'm gonna say I'm gonna end the stream here in like a minute. I'm just trying to see if there's any last questions. Okay, Spare, you have one? Ask your, go ahead, ask the question. Yeah. What is the moss on the Ether Stone called? If you're referring to this stuff, this is Vermilion Skulk Growth. This is kind of the infection in itself. There's gonna be a few uses for it. Oh, not that. On Ether Stone. I'm not really sure what you're referring to. Are you talking about Shulkrin moss that goes on Shulkrin Phyllium? This? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're referring to. The pig stuff on the Ether. Oh, this? Oh, this is just Vermilion Skulk. Oh, that... I'm stupid, my bad. It's just Vermilion Skulk. It's... Yeah, it's just a, it's just like a grass block. Yeah. Alright, no need to shout. Someone's getting heated. It's Minecraft. But, yeah, no, that's just Vermilion Skulk. That's been in the game. That's been in the mod. That was added already. I retextured it, though, to look more like Skulk. It's not done yet, but in the progress of working, making it look that way. Alright, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed. If you decide to redo Enderman. That's a cute idea. I'm not really sure how to do that, but if I ever find the way to do that, that would not be that would be a good idea, and that would definitely be something I wouldn't mind be looking into. Okay. And then right before I leave, last things I want to say, just some quick little things that a lot of people tend to forget. This stuff grows. It grows over time like mushrooms. When you break it, you have a chance to get ender pearls. Everyone who keeps not realizing that Scythian bamboo or Scythian stock doesn't have a purpose, it does. If you smelt it in a blast furnace, you get gold. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly cover some little, because a lot of people tend tell us that we don't have utility, but then don't really realize that we do have utility. It's just a lot of people don't know that. There is blocks with utility, so those were two that come in mind that a lot of people don't understand or realize have a utility to them. So keep that in mind next time you're doing it. I mean, yes, no, I can look into that. I'll see about that. It just depends, because usually our FNQ is more about general questions, not really specific questions like block utilities, because to list out every block with utility can be a little bit annoying. I'm thinking about trying to get it put on the fandom wiki, and so that the Scythian, there'll be a Scythian block thing and a Vermilion Skulk and whatnot. Utility blocks, to put some of the utility blocks on the wiki so that people can see that easily and find it and know what it does specifically. Why is there lanterns hanging from this island? Because that's just a feature of because remember, this is a ancient civilization, so they have therium lanterns hanging from them. It's just a cool feature we added. We really like it. A lot of people like it. If you don't like it, you can disable it via data pack. You can actually disable everything here via data pack. So, but we personally found it very cool. Alright, so I'm going to end the stream here, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully I answered like a lot of your questions. Oh yeah, no, totally. That's okay. No, like no shame or anything. But thank you guys for coming. I hope I got to answer some questions. It was really nice interacting with everyone. Bye. Yeah, I'll probably try to do some more streaming, hopefully about content and things, and make videos. This video will be up on the channel afterward if you missed something. I pretty much went over things though, so it should be fine. Alright. Bye everyone.